Chapter 29. The dragons land in a tangle of wings and fire and rage, but Rose doesn't hesitate. She strides over, dodges round their lashing tails, and forces them apart by slapping at their snouts. "Bobad, bo boys! Bobad, bo boys!" she shouted, when they're cowering by her feet, she beckons us over. "Here goes," says Wynne, thumping me on the arm. "Let's take these dragons to school." Then he frowns. "What even is school?" "I'll tell you some other time." Rose passes me a handful of broken biscuits. "Give these to Vlad. You need to gain his trust by feeding him." "Vlad? Why can't we fly Pickle?" "Arthur, just because Vlad has got a scary name doesn't mean he's the scariest dragon." "Yeah, but he is, isn't he?" Aye. Vlad's wide blue bulk. He seems much more sinister than rosy red Pickle. "Vlad's big-boned, that's all," she says. "Now get over there while he's still worn out from his fight." I take a deep breath, blow out nice and slow, then walk towards Vlad. He's hunkered down, licking a drop of black blood from a tear in his wing. His tongue is thick and grey and has fiery cracks running through it like molten magma. When he sees me stepping closer, his head rises. His lips pull back and his yellow eyes narrow to slits. "Here, Vlad," I say, my voice wobbling. "Come and get a biscuit." I reach out my hand and his mouth opens to reveal a set of large, needle-sharp teeth. Smoke begins to seep from his nostrils. "Careful, Arthur," says Rose as I hold out the biscuits. "You've got to put them right in his mouth. If you chuck them in, he'll know you're scared. Dragons don't respect you if they think you're scared of them." I put my hand up to protect my face from the heat that's radiating from Vlad and inch closer. He's getting impatient now, snapping hungrily round my hand. So I reach forward as far as I dare and drop in the biscuits. They fall down his fiery gullet and he tosses his head back, gnashing his teeth enthusiastically. "Now's your chance," says Rose. "Get on his back. You too, Wynne." "How?" I circle Vlad's bulging body. "Climb him. Imagine he's one of those models at the Dino-tastic play park." Amazingly, Rose's shoddy advice works, and I'm able to scramble up Vlad's side by pretending he's made of fiberglass. I pull myself onto a sitting position by grabbing hold of one of the spikes that line his back. Immediately I shift from side to side. Vlad's scales are roasting. This is like sitting on the embers of a bonfire. I feel bones and muscles moving beneath Vlad's scaly skin, and he turns his head and glowers at me. I sit as still as possible until he looks away. Wynne pulls himself up behind me and settles down. "Right," he says, rubbing his hands with enthusiasm, or possibly because he just burnt them. "How do we fly this thing?" And that's when I realise we should have found this out before we climbed onto Vlad's back. "Rose," I shout, "tell us what to do." She cups her hand round her mouth and calls, "It's easy. Squeeze with your left knee to go left and your right knee to go right. Oh, and say, 'Rub eyes,' to make him go up." "Rubber eyes?" says Wynne. "No, rub eyes." "Rub eyes," Wynne bellows. And instantly Vlad's crusty ears prick up and his immense wings expand. Before Wynne and I can even think of escaping, Vlad has heaved his body to standing and begun a lolloping jog across the dojo. The ground shakes, and Wynne and I hold tight to the spikes. I bounce up and down, my bum slamming repeatedly into his rough, hot scales. "How do we get him to land?" I shout to Rose. She says something that might be dobobob or hobnob, but I can't hear over Vlad's thudding wings. Rose, what did you say? But it's too late. Vlad has reached the edge of the dojo and is taking a clumsy leap. Just when I think we're going to crash into the trees, his wings thrust down and we rise up in the air. I slip to one side as I look over my shoulder. Rose, I yell. We don't know what we're doing. But she's not even looking in my direction. Instead, she settled herself on the dojo, resting against Pickle. I think she might be sunbathing. Wynne leans forward. Arthur, we're flying a dragon! I swallow and nod and squeeze my legs round Vlad's fat body as we soar higher and further away from Rose. Wynne laughs in delight. Doesn't it feel dangerous?